Alright, hey everyone. I just wanted to make a video documenting my first ever powerlifting meet. It's been a really long journey the last 2 years kind of getting in the gym, and I just wanted something to kind of review because they did a live stream of this, so I was able to take some really good quality videos from it, and show some stuff and kind of use this as something that I can look back on hopefully in a few years and be like, wow, remember your first ever meet? You lifted this and now you're lifting X amount here. So before I start, I kind of want to share a little bit of the journey here. So we did this June 7th of 2025. This was a picture of me June 1st. That's kind of May end of the school year, but basically that was me June 1st of 2023. So 2 years ago, just the heaviest I've ever been, and I was gone on weightlifting or weight loss journey. Was like, I'm gonna get back in shape. And then started doing the gym like that August, September. Fell in love with going to the gym like all the time, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, sometimes just kind of going for like stretching or walking, whatever it is. And then really, when I moved to my new area, started kind of, we had a gym that I could deadlift and some squat better. The gym I was at didn't have any like free weights. They only had bench free weights. They didn't have like a platform or nothing. So I'm gonna play this through a little bit here. But so then kind of June of 2024, I was like, let me work on squatting and deadlifting a little bit just to work on some stuff. And I got better over time. And then this coming year, so in January, I was like, I've been talking to one of my best friends, played baseball with him. He's been powerlifting for about 3 years. And I was like, I'm going to do a competition. Like, I want to do one. So then 12 weeks ago, I hit up his coach, which is a friend of mine as well. And I was like, hey, I'm going to do a powerlifting meet. Sign me up, give me a comp, give me a program. So I paid him for a program and paid him to come to the meet to be able to come compete. So this is it. So this is a pretty sick little intro that they have on the meet here. So I will start with kind of going through this. It'll go through all the lifts. So if you don't know anything about powerlifting in general, you just have 3 lifts. You have the squat, you have the bench, and you have the deadlift. So really the whole training process, like I just honestly can't thank God enough to keeping me healthy through the whole process. I don't have the best form, and I've always training hard to like not get hurt, I guess the best way. But then also just putting the right people in my life and the support system that I have around me. Like again, the last 2 years has been kind of crazy. Just all the people that he's been able to bring into my life and just push me to be better and the better version of myself. Like I just can't thank him enough for everything he's done. So with that, we will jump into what our lifts are. So this is the squat. So I was going to talk about the squat a little bit here. The squat is by far my worst lift of the entire 3. For my size, in a way, I should squat more. Like I want to squat more. However, just working on technique has been huge, and I've not made huge jumps, but like my technique has improved a lot, and it's still kind of rough, as you'll see in some of these squats here. But my biggest worry coming into the competition was hitting depth. I wanted to make sure that I was going to get low enough. The goal is they'll kind of explain, if you can hear that a little bit, but it'll explain just what you're looking for in the squats. But my biggest worry, honestly, was just getting my hip below the knees. Everything else was fine. They've got commands. So like when you first start, they'll tell you unrack. Like when you unrack it, you got to hold it to lock your knees out. When you're straight, lock your knees out. They'll say squat. At any point, you can squat. You've got a 1-minute timer on there that you can use. So as long as you start to lift within the minute, you're good. And then you just stand back up, you squat, and then you wait for the rack command, and then you go rack it, and that's kind of it. There's 3 lights, basically red or white. There's a little more specifics like yellows and blues. I don't know all the details about that, but basically I'm looking for 2 of the 3 need to be whites. So that's what we're looking for. Other than that, it's just a basic squat. So we'll get into kind of our thing here. So again, the squat's my least of the thing. When we started this competition, when I first signed up, there was 4 dudes in my class. I'm in the 110 kilo class, which is 242 pounds. I weighed in at 238.9. So that's why you see this here. This is in kilos. And it even has a little forecasted. After you weigh in, you have to put all of your openers down. So based off of my openers, I was forecasted to come in first place in my weight class. Also, there's kind of only how you work in a competition, there's two things that you kind of care about is your weight class, and whoever moves the most weight in your weight class wins. And then you could have like an overall winner, which is called dots. There's like a formula that goes into. So it gives technically the people that are the lighter weights a way to compare to the people that are bigger. So in the theory, I'm 238. If someone comes in weighing 160, I should lift way more than them, or I should lift more than them. This allows that person that they lift the same weight as me, or even if I lift a little bit more, they're lighter, and their formula kind of calculates. They have higher dots, which means like they are stronger when it comes into that. But anyways, 4 people signed up, 1 person dropped. So 3 of us, all 3 of us showed up, and then one of the guys weighed in over. He weighed in at like 113 kilos, I think. So it was closer to like, I don't know what that is, but it was 6 pounds over. So like 248, 250. So he got bumped up to next class. So then it just became me and another guy. Based off of all of our openers, his squat was pretty good ahead of mine for the openers. So let's see how this first ever lift goes. So I definitely was a little more nervous. I wasn't as nervous as I thought I would be. That is my coach right there. Coach Daniel is a good friend of mine as well from our fantasy football, and he's been doing this for a while now. And that lady is one of the back judges. Like, she's one of the people that get you set in the back. So I was just really just hurt in depth. And again, it's a little different because you just have nothing in front of you. There's the crowd in front of you. So like, I'm just making sure I hit it. My big thing on squats, I hit depth, but I want to make sure my knees kind of stay out and turn the knees out. I still have a problem with my knees coming in, and my kind of butt picks up. I kind of like cowtail it a little bit. So we've been working on that, even in the later weight. That moves super easy, but right here, hold on, I gotta go back a little bit. One thing I made right there, hand comes off the bar. So that, they end up talking about it on the live stream apparently for like 30 minutes. So my hand comes off the bar, didn't even pay attention to it. So when you see this right here, we got 1 white and 2 reds. So you have 3 judges. 1 sits over here, 1 sits in front, 1 sits on the side. They can see depth, and then the person in front sees like everything else. Well, the person on the back here couldn't see this hand because this hand kind of open, but this one really open. So this judge saw that. Red light, this judge sees that hand, red light, and we failed the first lift. So eventually, I can ask the judges as well. So once I hit this lift, I'm like, what the heck? So basically the front judge was like, hey, your hand open up. Like, that's it. Everything else was perfect. I was like, oh, okay. So I make a jump, and I was a little worried about making the jump because I just wanted a number on the board. If you don't hit a lift, so you have 3 attempts for all lifts. If you don't hit a lift, you disqualify. Okay. So I wanted to make sure I got a lift in. We made a jump not as big as we were planning because going into this, you kind of have a game plan. Hey, my max was 385 coming into this. So we had like a plan to be like, all right, we're going to go here. Basically, you go to a little bit lighter, a little bit under your max, and you kind of want to go over your max. We just jumped this a little bit lower. This is like 350 something. The goal was like 370 for my second set. But I wanted to make sure that I had a squat. Made sure my hands stayed locked on. We're good. And easy 3 weights. So at that point, I'm super relieved because I just wanted a lift for squats. I was like, please let me get a squat in. So it was 355-ish. So we hit that. So then I make a jump here next. I jump up to 375, 372, something like that. 374. So again, my max commit was 385. I just wanted another lift. He was kind of like, hey, maybe 380-ish, and I was like, this is fine. If I would have not had the hand issue on the first lift, this would have been my second attempt. I would have made this jump up here. So we hit it. Still got it pretty easy for a third thing. Quick 3 whites. And I was like, all right, we're good. Butt comes out a little bit, but it's still not terrible. But again, we're working on, before this next one, really want to work on making sure the knees stay dried out. And I can do that. But we are also going to start doing low bar squats. So if you know anything about squatting, we're going to work on low bar stuff for the next thing. I just started working on the pathing for that. So that's the next big, process we're doing. But now we're going into bench press. Bench press is my strongest of the 3 lifts, comparatively, because when I first started getting into the gym, all we had was like a bench press, and being a dude, like, you just want to lift chest. So like basically I've been lifting chest heavy, hard for 2 years. The other movements, deadlift and squats, I've just kind of been doing that for about 3 months, give or take. So bench press is a little bit different than the regular bench press that you're probably used to. It'll show, I'll have a little bit of the video show. But my goal coming into this, my max bench was 320. It was a little bit of a sketchy, so I counted, I got it, but it was kind of like, I'm not sure if I paused long enough, all this stuff here. But my goal getting into this was at least 315. I wanted to be able to say I can hit 315 in competition. But the long story short, bench press is you have a couple of commands. You have to unrack it. You can get a person to help you spot it off, but you can unrack. Once you unrack it, you hold. You see the judge say start. Hold on. And then you hear the start command, and then you pause it on your chest, and then you lift. You have to have your butt on the ground, butt on the bench, and your back, your shoulders. But you can have an arch. A lot of the elite lifters will have a little bit of an arch, as you can see, like that girl has an arch here. But shoulders are on, butt's on, feet have to be flat. My only concern for this was that my heels would come off the ground. I actually wear a squat shoe when I bench press because it has the heel, so make sure my heels don't actually come off the ground. But you have to wait for the command to press when there's no movement left. That's essentially the bench press. And you have to wait for the rack command. One of the guys had failed a couple times because he actually didn't wait for the rack command. Which is what they're actually talking about in the meeting here. But this is my first bench, so this is 308.
Before you can rack that bar. Corey, 292.
Sorry, that's 292. So I knew I could get 295 was my openers in prep. So I was like, all right, let's just go 292, make sure I get it. So you got to hold your start, pulse on the chest, press up, and then rack. My biggest bench that I need to work on is my left arm. For whatever reason, I'm dipping pretty hard. And they're talking about the same. The guy that went before me again, he was able to get it lifted, but then didn't hold the rack command again. So you have to really listen to the commands here. So now we are going for 308. This was my only time I should have listened to my coach more so. Like, I regret not listening to him. So you'll see my left arm still struggles. We're going to work on different training here. So we hit this. A little bit of a dip. So you can dip one side when you bench, but you can't have negative movement. So you see this, I'm pressing, even though I go twisted, it still kind of pushes all the way up. I don't ever stop and fall and then go. Whatever reason, I need to get that muscle imbalance kind of working on it. I find some things, going to be working on that kind of stuff. But I get that. I think I would have got... My coach wanted to do 320 there. He wanted to jump up to 145 kilos for that lift. Because if that moved too easy, you're good. And I think that should have been the play. So I should have went for my max, essentially, for that second lift. Because as you see, we're going to come up. This is the only lift I actually fail in the whole comp. Obviously, failing, you just don't get a lift. So...
319 pounds.
I should have done this second because, as you're going to see here in a second, I get stalled out about halfway, and I really wish I would have went ahead and did this ahead of time because I think between the squats and a little bit of gas there, you see this here, and then as we go, I get half, and that left arm just can't press.
Just a little bit too much.
So I think I would have been able to get that there if I would have went for it second, and then I would have missed my third lift no matter what. So I missed out on a few kilos there. Squats is what I missed the biggest one out on. But I was still happy with it overall. I'm still over 300 competition lift. Once we grind a little bit more, we'll be good for that. So now we're moving into deadlifts. This is my second favorite lift. Like, I've fallen in love with squats. Like, squats is still one of my favorite lifts now, to be honest, of the three. But just overall, it's just the worst in total. Deadlifts have been a lot of fun, kind of learning. And even today, I just grinded for like an hour. Just technique, pathing is super lightweight. Just pathing kind of the bar, working on better positioning and all that stuff. Because my knees for deadlifts are still they kind of collapse a little bit more than I want. And on this, my back was shooting up first. So like my knees would lock out instantly. And then I'm lifting all of it up instead of letting everything kind of work at the same time. So really being able to focus on that. Biggest thing for deadlift is just the commands. You got to hold it until they say down. You have to lock everything out. It's a little less technical, I feel like, versus the other lifts, even though some of the guys say they can't. So you have two different variations. You can do conventional, or you can do sumo. Sumo is the really wide stance. Conventional is the stance closer together. You can also do a variation with your hands. So I do a mixed grip here. I want to work on doing a hook grip. This is a hook grip here, where both hands are down. I do a mix with both one hand over, one hand up, which is right there. So you basically got to lock it out the top, and then you got to wait for down. You cannot drop the weight from the top. You have to take it to the ground, and when the bar touches the ground, that's when you can let your hands go. So that's essentially what we're looking for here. You can't use your knees to like also grind it up. You have to just lift it up. It can touch your legs, but you can't use it to ramp, is what they call it. So you can't use that to like help pull it up there. But other than that, deadlift is just picked it right off the ground for the most part. So this is my biggest mistake over the hand stuff. So as you see here, if I pause it right here, if you look at my legs compared to this guy, I'm missing one thing. So again, I got a coach in the back, and you got one of the older ladies. She's working on like getting everyone set up and does all the gear checks and everything. She's not paying attention because we're doing something in the back, and I don't have socks on. I don't have my deadlift socks. So you got to have socks that cover your shins up to your knees, because in case you basically scrape yourself and they don't want blood all over the ground, which I've done in training. I've cut my leg open. I've got a pretty big, like, I don't want to say callus. It's like a cut on there that's always healed over itself. And then like I got blood on my shoes. So I get up there and you see me look, because the guy goes, socks. And I go, oh, I forgot my deadlift socks. So the timer's already started, so that means I have basically 45 seconds to go put socks on, and I don't have enough time. So I thought they were in my bag, which was in the stands with my girlfriend, but it wasn't. So I kind of walk out there, and I go, oh, shoot. They're off at the side, so then I go around, change my socks. So I go ahead and put the socks on. So that was 475. So what my coach does is he's like, hey, we're going to make this normal jump. You're lifting it just fine. I hit 475 in the back. So I go ahead in the back. I hit it in the training. So back here, you have all your warm-up area, all that kind of stuff there. So I decide, you know what? I'm going to hit the 475 in the back. He's like, I already jumped you up to your 500 or whatever this is here. So I'm going to hit this. And I was a little worried, because I was like, I've not failed 500 in training. But like, it's still like comp. I'm a little bit tired. Let's, I want to make sure that we get this. I was kind of do about the same, because again, I'm already still forecasted one. I've already got basically first place locked up if I hit any deadlift. I am currently up. I didn't say this beforehand. After squats, I was down 8.5 kilos. After bench, I was up 12. So I had a pretty good jump. So pretty much after this point, it was like, if I just hit a deadlift, I'm going to win. He was starting with 200 kilos. I was starting with 212. And like, I was already like, all right, I'm already going to progress higher than that. However, unfortunately, he missed his lifts. So I was like, I just need one. I just need to hit this lift. So I'm still kind of like, okay, make sure you don't grind the legs. I go ahead and get down. And again, my biggest thing is making sure I drive my knees out. I've been working on that now. My knees collapse a little bit. I lock it out. And it took a second, but I get 3 weights. So I'm good. So I got my first lift, so that locks up first place. Because he missed his second lift at 200. And even if he would have went up there, again, I was winning going into this. I just hit 227, so I'm up like 30 kilos going into this, 35 kilos. So I just was like, all right, I can lift whatever I want. So this is basically a PR attempt. My PR coming into this was 515. This is, I think, 517. So the only PR that we attempted on the day, because again, I was lower on squats and bench.
518 pounds.
So 518. So this is a 3-pound PR here. So one thing with mixed grip that I'm working on, I kind of want to avoid mixed grip, is this specific reason right here. So my knees come in there, so I'm grinding. You can see the weight shift.
Get those hips through. Oh, that was such a long track. What's he looks so gassed.
And quick 3 white lights. So you can see here the look at the weight just shift. That was just
The bar got away from him too, and to recover from that is really impressive. When you have a conventional stance, if that bar gets in front of you, it is so difficult to recover. So good job.
Yes, so that was the big thing. So I'm working on hook grip on this next top. But we got a PR 517. Didn't get hurt in the process. Had a lot of fun. So some pictures. So we got first place on the podium. Again, the other dude missed his third deadlift again, so he actually didn't qualify. So technically he was first out of first. But I beat him by would have beaten him by 35, 40 kilos after that deadlift there. But again, I was seeing this for a comparison. Let me look at that. That's crazy. Comparison there. Long journey. It's been so much fun. And then I got to share this experience with my amazing girlfriend. So she loved, actually. I didn't think she'd have as much fun there. She was super bought into all this stuff. Was watching every lifter was going rooting me on, all that kind of stuff there. Had a lot of fun through the whole thing, and I definitely plan on doing more. Again, I think I have one that I might sign up for in September, depending on how I've been feeling, and then I definitely am gonna do one in January with my boy Reese, back in my area I've lived in the last few years. So I'm excited for the journey to see how far we can push this. Definitely get into powerlifting a little bit on the older, 33, but I kind of want to see how much numbers I can push. I'm ready for the next one to go. So thank you guys.